कपित्तजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्।
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaskaram. Bharatanatyam is one of the most popular classical dance forms across the world, the most widely viewed, practiced and appreciated classical dance forms of South India. As a performer and a teacher, I often get several queries from seekers, students and parents who would like to learn Bharatanatyam. Queries such as, I work in the IT industry, I really like Bharatanatyam, can I learn now? My daughter is very interested, can she learn? She's only 5. How long would it take for me to perform on stage? Do different teachers deal with different styles of Bharatanatyam? So on and so forth. We have created this video to answer some of these questions. Through the next few minutes of this video, we hope to help you understand the whys, the why nots, the how and the when aspects of learning and journeying into the deep and profound world of Bharatanatyam. I would like to help you understand a few vital aspects that are crucial and that you must consider before you learn Bharatanatyam. Searching for a teacher, the styles of Bharatanatyam, the correct age to begin learning Bharatanatyam, the teaching methodology, the relevance of music to Bharatanatyam, the significance of an Arangetram, and most importantly, the journey beyond Arangetram. The first challenge is to find the right teacher. Do take some time to search for a learner teacher. Most teachers and institutes have their own websites. Do take some time and go through the website. And when you meet with the teacher, do ask relevant questions such as his or her guru, the style of Bharatanatyam that is followed, performance experience and so on. If possible, do sit for a class in progress so you can judge for yourself the teacher's rapport with the student. Doing this will help you get a good feel of what you can expect from the classes. The pedagogy of Bharatanatyam has been handed over to us through centuries by temple dancers known as Devadasis. The Devadasis were well versed in dance, in music, in literature, Shastras, Puranas, mythology as well. The men folk of this community were known as Nattuvanars, and it is through them that a certain teaching methodology is in vogue. And it is this teaching methodology that is largely followed even to this day. There are several banis or styles in Bharatanatyam. For example, Varuvur, Tanjavur, Kalakshetra, Pandanallur, Mysore and so on. Each style is unique in its own way. For example, in the Varuvur style that I practice, you may observe graceful postures and pauses. In the Tanjavur style, you may find the absence of pauses but very linear postures. Each style is unique in its own way but has a common code of teaching that is largely followed even to this day. Do take the time to understand the style that your teacher is teaching so that you are able to appreciate the unique identity of the style. I would recommend the age of 7. However, some teachers do accept students who are a little younger or a little older. I believe that at the age of 7, the child has enough muscular strength to hold the difficult postures of Bharatanatyam. At the age of 7, the child does have the ability to comprehend concepts such as variation in speed and rhythm. And at this age, the child's body can be conditioned, stretched and strengthened through vyayamas or exercises. This is very essential because Bharatanatyam is a very physically demanding dance form. Although I recommend the age of 7, several older students, teenagers and adults can also learn Bharatanatyam at any age they would like to. There is really no age bar to learn Bharatanatyam. However, it does require a lot of hard work and conditioning of the body. Bharatanatyam is also a very ancient dance form and elevates us at various levels: physical, psychological, emotional and spiritual. Bharatanatyam must not be seen as just another cardio activity to aid weight loss. It is a serious pursuit and requires years of patience and dedication and definitely a lot of hard work. Teaching begins with the alphabet of Bharatanatyam, the Adavus or the footwork. This footwork is taught in 3 speeds: slow, medium and fast, also known as Vilambakalam, Madhyamakalam and Duritakalam. Across all banis, there are commonly between 8 and 10 set of Adavus. However, the teaching style of these Adavus may vary. This basic learning phase may take anywhere up to 2 to 3 years with regular practice. Next is the hand gestures.
Pataka, Tripataka, Ardhapataka, Kartari Mukha, Mayura, Ardhachandra, Arala, Shukatunda, Mushti, Shikara, Kapitta, Katakamukha, Suchi, Chandrakala, Padmakosha, Alapadma, Sarpashirsha, Mrugashirsha, Simhamukha, Kambola, Solapadma, Chatura, Brahmara, Hamsasya, Hamsapaksha, Samdamsa, Mukula, Tamarachula, Trishula.
In this phase, the student learns to use single hands or double hand gestures and coordinate and synchronize them with footwork. This can be a very challenging phase because it's not easy to synchronize hand movements to the footwork. This phase alone could require 2 to 3 years of regular practice. The next stage, the student is introduced to simple dance numbers such as Alarippu, Jathiswarams and Thillanas. These numbers emphasize on footwork. At this stage, the student is introduced to Abhinaya, or the ability to express simple emotions through dance numbers such as Kauthvams, Kritis, Devaranamas and so on. Now that all of you have learnt your steps and your hand movements, I would like to introduce you to the first item in the dance where you will learn how to emote. These are called as the Kauthvams. Traditionally, Kauthvams were performed during a temple procession by the Devadasis, and every time the idols were taken on the procession, the Devadasis would stop and then do these bit Kauthvams which were actually related to that particular idol. I would like to take you through the first verse of the Natyaabhyasa Kauthvam. I will tell you the word, the meaning, and then you can try doing that. Okay? The Natyaabhyasa Kauthvam is set in Raga Nrtta and it is in Ekatalam. So it goes takka dhimmi takka chonnu takka dhimmi takka chonnu. We'll do the first verse of the Natyaabhyasa Kauthvam. Kauthvams basically are items where it just praises the deity. So when you perform, what you will have to tell the audience is that this is the way, this is the glory of the deity, he was like this is his greatness. So when you emote, you will always have to come back to the audience and tell them this is the way it is. Okay? We will look at the first verse of Natyaabhyasa Kauthvam. Tatta vana muni jana sakala sura sura Nrtta pada kinkini jam jam. Here the meaning is Tatavana, all the devas, the grand devas, Munijana, all those munis and sages who are in meditative pose, Sakala, and all those great suras who bow down to your feet, which is tied with those jingle bells that goes jam and jam. Here the emotions will be grandeur, and then there will be bhakti, and then the feeling of listening to that beautiful sound of the jingle bells. Okay, can you try it with me? Let's go. Tatta vana muni jana sakala sura sura Nrtta pada kinkini cham cham. Remember, you have to try and tell the audiences. So when you say kinkini, you tell them his bells had that lovely resonance. Okay? Now would you like to do it once more? Let's do it. Kitta, takka, tatta, vana, muni, jana, sakala, sura, sura, Nrtta pada, kinkini, cham, cham. These dance numbers emphasize on the Abhinaya component. This phase alone could take another 2 to 3 years of regular practice. Harana bhava bhayadarunam Shri Ramachandra Kripalu bhajamana Harana bhava bhayadarunam Shri Ramachandra Kripalu bhajamana Harana bhava bhayadarunam Shri Rama. The most important, complex and challenging dance number is the Varnam.
Madhava kinnam en manam
tests the mettle of the student. In the Varnam, the student must be able to delineate nuanced emotions through Abhinaya, deliver complex rhythmic patterns through footwork, and must have the ability to switch between the two. It is imperative at this stage that the student undergoes the basic training in Bharatanatyam to be able to do justice to the Varnam. Learning a Varnam alone could take anywhere between 6 months to a year due to its complex structure. Post learning the Varnam, the student will now learn pure Abhinaya pieces known as Padams or Javalis. Padams and Javalis, the student has the ability to express a wider range of emotions. For example, it could be an emotional piece that talks about a heroine who is pining for her lover, or it could be a devotee who's just waiting for a glimpse of a god. This phase of learning just the Padams and Javalis could take anywhere between another 2 to 3 years.
तव विरहे केशवा राधिका तव विरहे केशवा राधिका तव विरहे केशवा तव विरहे केशवा कृष्णा.
This set of items comprising of Alarippu, Jathiswaram, Shabdam, Varnam, Padams or Javalis and Thillanas in the Bharatanatyam parlance is known as a margam. This entire process of learning the basics of Bharatanatyam could take anywhere between 6 and 8 years. Depending on the ability of the student, the intensity of the practice and the maturity of the student to grasp the nuances of Bharatanatyam, this training period may vary. Once the student has completed this entire basic training, he or she is now ready to perform solo on stage in what is known as Arangetram or Rangapravesham. Music is a very important and crucial component for a dancer. Learning classical music or even classical musical instrument only adds value to the dancer. This is because every dance form is always accompanied by music. In the earlier times, the Devadasis were very well versed in the twin art of music and dance. Several renowned dancers today are also excellent musicians or have a very thorough knowledge about music. here is to develop a sensibility towards music. If your child is inclined to learn both dance and music, do encourage her to do so. Learning music is very advantageous to dance, and understanding the nuances of dance helps in singing too. Irrespective of whether you can learn to sing or not, do listen to any form of music. This will help build an ability to innately understand and respond to ragas, emotions, and also help you respond to good poetry. The Arangetram or Rangapravesham is a very important juncture in a student's life. After having undergone the basic training, as I have mentioned earlier, the student is now perhaps ready to debut on the stage as a solo dancer. Is Arangetram really important? I would say it is essential, because preparing for an Arangetram and successfully performing in front of a very large audience enhances the confidence in the dancer's ability. It also helps her assimilate all that she has learnt in the years of training. Dancing in a group, however, is a different experience. It is important for the dancer to synchronize her movements and understand the sensibilities of the other dancers of the group. Having performed an Arangetram provides an added advantage even if you're performing in a group. Often it is believed that Arangetram is pretty much the end of learning. On the contrary, it is just the beginning of delving deeper into the art form. Bharatanatyam is a language or a method of communication. Learning the basic elements of Bharatanatyam is like learning the alphabet or the basic grammar of a language. There are words to be formed, sentences to be phrased, paragraphs to be written, and stories to be told. And this takes a very long time, especially if one is dealing with a classical dance form such as Bharatanatyam. Dancers with decades of experience continue to learn. They constantly research and innovate to give the audience and themselves a new perspective in their art. Several dancers also go back to their roots, studying philosophy, history, and the theoretical aspects related to Bharatanatyam to help make their art more profound. The learning never stops really. Dance is an eternal journey, a vast ocean that has much to offer to each student. The depth is unknown but is filled with great surprises. As the dancer practices, understands, and delves deeper into Bharatanatyam, she grows as a person. She gains knowledge, becomes cultured, and becomes creative. And thus, she creates a unique identity of her own.